reproduce sexually with a humanoid, and they always kill the father afterwards. And then sometimes that will produce either a female baby who will be a hag, or a male baby that will be a hag spawn. Right. So that's what hag spawn are. Hag spawn are the male children of hags and a humanoid. And then the hag spawn are usually cast away by the mothers. They don't really care about hag spawn, but of course hag spawns love their mothers anyway, and so it's a sad thing but they are always evil too. Hag spawn always adopt the worst traits of the father, and then the hag traits as well. And hag spawn are traditionally infertile, right? They can't reproduce, so you know their population doesn't grow over time. And then the hag spawn are usually cast away by the mothers. Okay, I got a problem here. I got to fix real quick. Care about hag spawn, but of course hag spawns love. There we go. Had a feedback going on there. Sorry. All right. So there is an archfey. Her name is Arethysia, and she is instrumental in creating the various ugly fey. Right. So your Fomorians and your hags and red caps, all the ugly fey. Right. And she has decided that she would like to see hag spawn become a prominent race, just like elves or orcs or humans. And so she granted one of the hag spawn the gift of fertility. This happened a century ago, a little over a century ago. And he has quietly been building so all in this community of it's called Bane Cross. That's the name of the original fertile hag spawn. It's also the name of the enclave he's founded in the northeast. So he has built a population of fertile hag spawn up there, and
is this like 19 kids and counting?
Yes.
Is he just multiplying en masse?
Well, so half of his sons or grandsons or whatever you want to call them, half of his bloodline will be fertile, and the other half are just like other hag spawn. So it's not just his kids, but he is the original he's the original parentage of all of the hag spawn up there. The others are their mothers are humans, because the way that this enclave survives is by leaving each spring, going out across the wide world to bring back women, because historically and to this day, giving birth to a hag spawn kills the mother. It's just too traumatic. It's kind of like an alien thing where they are too big and they just kind of erupt out of the mother, rather than a painful but survivable birth. So anyway, so the heroes, they found out about this, and they have I'll show you. Oh yeah, we're on the map. And so we're like up here in this area, very far north, and they have traveled to this part of the world to end this travesty. And so your character actually aligns quite well with the story, right? So as a warlock of Tatiana, you would be inherently concerned about Arethysia's decision to elevate the ugly Fey to a position equal to the various Fey of the Seelie court. And that would explain how you wound up here. Right. Now, how much you want to reveal about your character to the other three, I will leave up to you. But that explains how you would wind up. You would have found these guys. So you would have been on a similar mission to theirs, and found this group of heroes working for the same cause, and then we will jump in at that point.
So my mission is coming probably directly from my patron then.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, Arethysia is an outcast among the Archfays. She's seen as either insane or perverted, right? Because she completely rejects the traditional expectations of all the Seelie courts. All the Seelie courts, even the Unseelie court, with Tatiana's sister who reigns there, they don't accept hags or red caps or any of the ugly fae in the court. Right? They still want their court to be beautiful. They just happen to swing towards evil, but they still prefer the quicklings and those type. But Arethysia actually prefers. She has a distorted view of beauty. She has a perverse opinion of what is a beautiful thing. So, okay, so we are ready to jump in there, and we're going to pick up just immediately following the events of the last session. You've examined the situation in Bane Cross, and you've realized you don't have the resources for direct attack. However, you have found a group of skilled companions, and this morning, just outside Bane's Cross, you take your breakfast of filled rations with them as you await the arrival of the representative of the Northmen who contacted you at the end of the last session. So he should be here within a few minutes. But it gives us an opportunity to talk about our characters. So, Josh, you want to tell us a little bit about Velimir?
Is a Shadowkai wizard. Shadowkai from the Shadowfell. He came to the material plane, our material plane, through one of the Fey crossings. There's also one for the Shadowfell. It's the temporary things so they can cross between. And yeah, he's trying to study the different cultures, but also trying to set up like a community of wizards. There isn't really such a thing. He's trying to get them together so they can sort of teach each other things.
Pursue arcane interests, further their traditions. Yeah. Okay, Nikki, you want to tell us about Tori very quickly?
Tori's a forest Silva, like nature warden, which is kind of a mix between a ranger and a warlock. And she's from the Farwood, where a group of hags corrupted her mother tree, and she joined the party to hunt down hags.
Okay, and then Omari, give us a brief description of Mikhail.
Mikhail is a Esmer. Basically, he's like the angel in the flesh, and he's a follower of the One True Faith. And he was sent as a kind of like to gain the revenge on the Faith for killing the paladin of the One True Faith.
Well, that sounds like it might conflict with other people.
And
he started his own thing. He tried to pass the One True Faith to the other races.
He originated as a Avenging Angel. So Omari had a paladin die, and rather than have the paladin raised, he decided to create a Avenging Angel, an Avenging Angel for that paladin, and it's kind of taken on an expanded belief system as it's progressed, which is good. Yeah. And all right, so Phil, you want to give us a brief description of Valerius? What you want the other characters to know about him? Or her, I should say, and then we will move on.
Right. So I think I'll keep it short and sweet. I wrote way too much in my character bio just because I had an idea and rolled with it. One of my traits is I put on new identities like clothes. So when I meet new people, depending on who they are, I usually portray myself as a completely different person, and I use illusion magic and acting skills to completely seem like a different person until I can trust someone enough to actually reveal my form. I'm a half-elf, but I don't I guess it's metagaming now because I don't actually tell that to people as a character. So I just pretend to be human 99% of the time.
Okay, and she actually aligns very well with the Dimgaard campaign, because half-elves traditionally are infiltrators who spy on other races, communities for the cloistered elves. The elves remain secluded, usually in the deep woods, but they need to keep track of what goes on in the other communities to identify any threats. So yeah, she's a very good character for Dimgaard. Okay, so we finished breakfast, and a human clothed heavily in furs approaches us, and he's clearly one of the Northmen. So the Northmen, they look like they may be a mix of Tinglet and Chaina. They have racial features of both, but they have kind of become a sub-race of their own. And in heavily accented Larian, he says, I am Borsted. There are not many of us who speak Larian and have the stealth necessarily to approach this close to Bane's Cross. So I'm here to escort you to the rendezvous, which you would call a festival. It was arranged by Jarl Svind near his band's primary hunting herd. So there will be many bands there at the rendezvous by the time we arrive, and you will have opportunity to make your case and convince them to join the cause. They are a diverse group who have many interests. Along the way, I can help you understand how outsiders can convince the Northmen to their cause. We should be there by the evening feast in about 2 days. So we have a long journey ahead of us. We should start as soon as possible. So is there anything we want to do before we start roaming across this frozen north?
We want to know if we can cast non-detection on that cleric. The spell, so that way they cannot track us down.
Did we captured the cleric? Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's a problem.
Unless it,
yeah, I don't.
The Hexball might be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there'd be a problem with you casting non-detection on him. That doesn't require him to be willing, right? Or does it? I don't know.
I don't have that spell. I was asking if we can find somebody to cast non-detection so they don't track us.
You mean pass without trace, maybe?
We need to, so that they cannot use magic scrying to like find our location. Familiar with us as much as they're familiar with him, and that increases their chances of locating us.
Well, I don't think he would be willing to do that. He has to be willing for that to occur.
Well, not him, but can we find somebody that can cast a non-detection on him?
No, because he has to be willing.
He is the target, and he must be willing. Right? The target can be a willing creature, and he would not be willing for that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good then. Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. All right. Then away we go. Right. Just for clarification. All right. So that's fine. So along the way, this is what we. Let me just paste this so that I don't have to read it. Because Borsted gives you kind of the gist of what the Northmen refer to themselves as the Jarlfolk, because each band is led by a character. The leader of each band takes the title of Jarl, so their name for themselves are the Jarlfolk. They speak generally both Tinglet and Chaina. So and then a few of them speak. So this is what he conveys along the way, right? So they are centered around family level bands that migrate together following large herds like caribou and bison, and they are not a frivolous type, right? They're like, for example, they don't have sports, but they do engage in competitions, but all the skills of their competitions involve things that you would normally use for hunting and defending, like archery, right? So they'll have archery contests at times. Yeah. And they are very strange in that they are curiously tribalistic, but they are internally very suspicious of each other. So they will come together to defend themselves against an outside threat, but they are always suspicious that one particular Jarl may be trying to establish himself as some sort of a grand chieftain, which they would oppose, right? So, yeah, they're an interesting group, the Jarlfolk. All right, so the trip is uneventful until the final day. Borstad says he would expect us to arrive there by the evening meal, and probably there will be a feast at that time to honor your arrival, and you can begin making your plea to them. However, we reach a point where things happen. So if everyone could make sure they could move their tokens for me.
Would I have been able to have gotten a simulacrum?
Yes, you could have.
In one of the towns.
Yeah, you could have created a simulacrum while you were waiting for Borstad to arrive.
Okay.
So let me get you a simulacrum out there. Okay, there you go. Should be able to move him.
Yeah. He's not gonna last very long.
Anything else we need to do before we jump into the meat of the matter? All right, so the trip's been eventful. You've been able to fight off the bitter cold, which is a good thing. Borstad seems curiously unaffected by most of the... I guess I need to put Borstad out there. By the effects.
Got any special boots?
No, just naturally resistant to cold. That would force it. Mikhail, why am I showing you damaged? I'm showing you down to 20 hit points. I'm sure that's not right. Okay, so Okay, where was that? But suddenly there is an obvious warmth rising from the area. And I think I don't see a way for us to avoid these critters jumping up and attacking us.
Like razor, something or others.
Remoraz, yeah.
Remoraz, that's it.
There are 4 of us, right? Yeah. So, Phil, make sure that your token is...
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, are we level 14?
Yeah, we're level 14.
Yes, the level possession. Always.
Yeah, so make sure you have your token selected and then click the initiative button on the character sheet. And you will go into...
I really can't beat a 13.
I guess the dice have spoken. Next time we'll cast Enhance. Actually... I'll just contingency fast. 10 days. I could have contingency in everyone then, surely.
I think you can only contingency 1 spell though, right? Or I only have 1 contingency up at any time, if I remember right.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a shame.
Alright, so Velimer, you are first. You've reached an area where there appears to be a noticeable increase in heat beneath you.
I'll wait until all of them are up, and Well, I already spell when all of them are up.
How do you know how many all of them are?
Actually, no. Yeah. Well, that's a fair point, but I got mirror image then.
Okay. Larius. Larinus. Larin S? How do you pronounce that?
Larinus.
Ms. Featherfall. How's that?
Larinus.
Larin S. Okay.
Larinus. I should have said this earlier. I'm probably presenting myself as, like, some big burly human right now. Unless there's, like, some RP that we have to go through first, but we can do that later. So we don't know where these creatures are, but we suspect that there's something below us.
That's right. Uh-huh.
Okay. I am going to ready a shatter spell.
Okay, ready for what?
Slightly away from my party. Ready for anything that jumps out at me.
Okay.
Or onto me.
What is Mikael going to do? You're muted, Omari.
I want to bless everybody.
Okay. So we're casting it second level to get everybody? Or 3rd level to get the simulacrum as well. That reminds me, what's Velimir's simulacrum going to do?
First level.
You're ready, a firebolt.
Oh wait, I didn't put him in initiative.
Dan, bless is first level and it covers 4 people. Or 3 people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
there's 5.
there are 5 people. Well, actually 6 if you count Borsted. Borsted is dodging, by the way. Just so. Yeah, so you can't cast everybody with a 1st level spell. With a 1st level bless. You could cast 3 people with three members with the 1st level bless, but not everybody.
Okay, then I'll cast it at 2nd level, and that should cover everybody except Simulacrum.
And Borsted. You're not going to bless Borsted either. All right. So everybody except for the Simulacrum and Borsted. Gotcha. Okay, anything else from Mikael?
That's it.
All right. So a large creature surfaces right here. That's going to trigger Larinus's shatter spell. That triggers your ready to action.
Maybe I should have been clearer. I meant like if it jumps at me specifically.
Oh, okay. What is Velimir doing there, sir?
Is it?
That's my simulacrum as well.
Oh, that's your simulacrum ready action. Okay. Well, a one's going to miss. Yeah. Okay, and then the Rimmerez sees the four of you there dancing around, and it's going to attack. 16. Would that hit Velimir?
No, but it would.
It could hit.
One of my,
Okay, so give us a D20 to see if it hit it.
17? Does that? I can't remember.
That would be you, yeah. The first one, it is above a 15, or 15, or let me make sure. Let me pull it up here.
I'll put it in chat. Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, it misses still.
Oh, okay. So it would have hit. It would have attacked a duplicate, and your duplicate has an armor class of 10 plus your dexterity modifier. So.
Oh, that's, yeah, it would kill one of them.
Okay, so there are only 2 duplicates now. All right, and it will be Tori's turn.
I'm gonna 2 steps back, and then I'm going to shoot it. Custom 14 lessons.
That's what I was doing. No, a 14 is what you need to hit these guys.
So
Okay. So
17 plus 6, 23.
23. All right, so this one will trigger Larinus's great axe. So this is actually coming up to attack Larinus.
Sure thing. Sure.
What do they look like?
They look like big caterpillar kind of with nasty fangs, and they are noticeably hot.
So use the second value for damage, and if they fail the save, they get knocked back, I think, 10 feet.
That's the underway. Shadow
Yeah.
just they need to con save and then they take damage.
Okay, no, I was thinking of something else then. Thunderwave, maybe.
There's their con. There's their con. Okay, so he succeeds, so he takes half damage.
FYI, whoever's blessed, you get 1d4 on your attack and saving rolls.
Right, so then he's going to attack. 21 to hit Larinus.
That'll hit.
Okay, for 11 piercing and 4 fire. Then it
Okay.
burrows back down into the ground. So it is underground. Northmen. Alright, so this one pops up here. It's also going to attack Velimir. 24 to hit Velimir. You're muted, Josh.
Yeah, it's another illusion.
Okay. And then, does Velimir have a way to attack him as he... Like, do you have a weapon or war caster or something? Because he submerges again, which will... Okay. Right. And then he pops up, attacks, and goes back down. Alright, so this one pops up, attacks Velimir's Simulacrum. An 18 to hit the Simulacrum.
You'll shield it.
Okay. Then it goes back underground. Alright, so Borsted, he's not a fighter, he's a guide. He moves away and dodges. Velimir's turn.
I'll chain lightning the one in the middle. Is that all of them?
Well, they have total cover. They're burrowed into the ground.
Oh, what? So how many? Oh, is that what the orange ones are?
Yeah, that's what the.
Orange dots are.
Uh-huh.
Then a phantasmal force making. Yeah, I don't know. I click that.
Okay, you're going to blind him with Phantasmal Force.
Yeah, I'm just curious vision.
Okay, what's the DC?
DC 18.
Okay, he can't succeed on an 18. The best he could do is a 17. Alright, so he's blinded and takes some psychic damage.
Two, and then I'll move away. Will do a firebolt and then move away. Actually, no, he'll do. Yeah, he will. 15 for 12.
Okay, so that's a solid hit, but it takes no fire damage. So it's immune to fire damage. Larinus' turn.
Okay, I am going to ready a Crown of Madness spell.
Okay.
You know that only works on
Humanoid? Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm not used to all these spells. I instead am going to ready a banishment spell for any target within my range that pops up at me.
Okay, anything else from Larinus?
That is an action. No, that's it.
Okay, Mikhail's turn.
humanoids. Yeah. Okay. Do I see any of them?
Yeah, this one is up. Yeah.
Up, and the rest of them are not, right?
Right, they're all beneath the surface.
So, I'm gonna tell them to run to the tree. Guys have they sensed our movement, and if we can draw them together and they pop up together, then we can just have a better chance at attacking them. So what I'm gonna do
back underground every time, so they'll never be up all together at the same time.
But at least we can kind of bunch them up. Because otherwise you guys are screwed. Unless you can fly. I can fly away, but you guys are screwed. So I'm gonna hit this guy right here.
Okay, so you're gonna.
Anybody in the range of this guy?
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna hit him up with the.
I can cast fly on 3 people, actually.
So let's keep that in the option. So I'm gonna viciously mock that freaking thing. I'm gonna call him like stinking not DC, it's DC 18. I don't know why it keeps changing.
Okay. So he's mocked. Anything else from
18.
anything else from Mikhail?
To like run, but like pound the ground really, really, really loudly, like as to generate as much tremor as possible.
Okay. Anything else from
That's it.
okay, so this one will come over and attack blindly at Mikhail. .22 to hit Mikhail.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, for... Okay, I can't read the damage on the... So for 20 piercing and then some fire, I can't... there's an effect that prevents me from seeing. Alright, so for 20...
26 damage.
Okay. And...
Attack or is it just regular attack?
I'm sorry? What's that? I didn't hear what you asked there, Omari.
Is it a magical attack?
No, it's not magical. You have heavy armor master. Is that the reason? Yeah. So if you have heavy armor master, it would be reduced by 3. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna move down here
Okay.
and then just shoot at the blinded one. Or 2. And then I'm gonna cast Swift Quarter.
So that was a total of 22. Got it. So he's blind, or he's bloodied now. Okay, so this one will pop up and attack Mikhail. Armor class 23 for 19 piercing and...
Cutting words.
Okay. So that would be a 16 instead. And then he will go back underground. Go over here a little bit, go underground.
I do a reaction now, since I have a...
Cutting words.
Captured.
Cutting words is a reaction.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry about that.
Alright, so this one, let's see. Nope, he's going to stick with Larinus. So this will trigger your ready to action. So your banishment goes off. And
It's DC 18, I think.
DC 18 wisdom save.
Yours in his banishment.
What did you say, Josh? I'm sorry. Alright, so he's banished.
Prisoner for banishment.
Oh, yeah, he can't make it. He can't make that save then. So he is banished off in some distant plane.
Nether realm, yeah.
So this one will pop up and attack Larinus. It'll miss, and then it'll go back underground. Borsted, he will run over here and dodge. Velamir's turn.
I'll cast Scorching Rain, make it acidic or just force. Then that's it. 3 of them.
Okay, all 3 of those hit. 1 crit.
Nice. And then my other guy, he won't do the same. He'll cast Toll the Dead.
Okay, so let's see. We got 15 and 13, 28 force damage. And then 8. All right, so this one collapses. Anything else from Velamir?
That's it.
Larinus.
Okay, I'll move close to Velamir over here, and I will... So the rest are underground or banished, right?
Correct. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll ready an Eldritch Blast for anyone that pops up.
Okay. Mikhail's turn.
Okay, when they burrow under, do they leave any kind of hole?
No. I mean, you can see the disturbed earth where they are there, but they're not leaving a tunnel behind.
So I'm gonna like ground again, like really like exaggerated, right? Walk, where the disturbed earth is, right here. Just like, just pound my feet on the ground to generate as much tremor as possible, and then I'm gonna engage my and fly up 10 feet.
Okay.
So that's and then 10 feet of flight. That's 30.
Okay. Anything else from?
Yeah, I'm gonna ready the vicious mockery.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit it with the vicious mockery.
Okay. Tori's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna go here, and then write an action to shoot the first one that pops up.
Okay. Okay, so he pops up. That'll trigger Vicious Mockery and Eldritch Blast, and Tori's ready to action. Okay, so 30's going to hit, 6 is going to miss. 22, 22, 11.
6 is damage.
Oh, 6 is damage. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 10 damage.
And then
You get 1d4 on the attack rolls, remember. You guys are blessed.
Does a 15 hit?
yeah,
Because of the... Oh, isn't it roll 1d4 every attack roll, or is it always 4?
no, it's a D4,
Roll 1d4.
but a 1 is always going to
Okay,
miss.
let's see.
A 1 always misses. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in that one, okay. So,
Should you get
my Eldritch Blast is...
Eldritch Blast. So you
Okay.
got, I think, 3 right now, right?
Oh yeah,
That would have been missed.
Okay, so having done that, I guess he would come over to attack Larius.
Also, I forgot to mention, the Eldritch Blast should push the Remoraz 10 feet away.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't know if it's too late to mention.
then he wouldn't be able to get to anybody. He would just resubmerge. Okay. Then the final one. He will come up. He's going to come over and attack Larynus. And he will miss, and he doesn't have enough movement to submerge. Tori, somehow
You didn't move through them.
I missed a bunch
So
of stuff.
it's
Right, so Borsted goes and dodges again. Velamir's turn.
Just keep it simple. With Toll the Deads.
Okay, this one hasn't been damaged. Oh no, I guess he has. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, he has. I didn't see it. I forgot about the shatter. Okay. Okay, so what's the range on Toll of the Dead?
I'll tell you, but I don't know right now.
Okay, that's really a good spell. It's
Amazing.
it has the most damage of any cantrip. Only one that equals it is poison spray.
60 feet.
That's really good.
Man, that's a tough spell. I need to steal that spell.
Yeah, that's not on your list.
Larynus' turn.
Okay, so this one's right in my face, right?
It is, uh-huh.
Okay, I am going to use a Frostbite cantrip. So that would be DC 18 Constitution.
Okay, it takes no damage. It's immune to cold damage.
Would that make it immune to the effect as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, learn through experience, I guess.
Happens.
Anything else from Larynus?
I think that's it for now.
Okay, Mikhail's turn.
Large or the huge
They're large.
creatures?
They're large.
No. Pull his ass. And feet, right? And I'm gonna try to grapple him.
Okay.
Right? Because he's a large creature.
Yeah, so you need an athletics check. I don't know why are you at disadvantage? I don't know why that is.
Because he's larger than me.
Okay. Well, he's grappled.
I'm gonna take off. And I have 10 more feet and I'm gonna pull him up in the air. 10 feet.
Okay. You only move at half speed when you are dragging someone.
So, yeah, I got 20 movement.
Oh,
I only
okay.
move 10 feet.
Okay, so you move him up 10 feet into the air. Gotcha. Okay.
I'm just gonna hang him up there.
Okay. Tori's turn.
I'm gonna shoot this guy a bunch of times. I'm gonna use my bonus action to shoot him twice more.
Yeah, all those hit.
So that's 21,
Okay, so
28.
he goes limp in Michael's grasp there. Anything else from Tori?
I don't know if this one.
Okay. Well, this one can get up to there. And yeah, so it lashes out with its. Sorry there, but it won't be able to get back underground. That's all of its movement to get to there. It's going to attack. 19 to hit Larianus.
Wonderful.
Does that hit Larianus?
I think I have a reaction, right? Hold on, I got a reaction. I think I didn't use the reaction yet. Yeah.
So that'd be a 9 to hit. Okay. And Borsted continues to dodge. It is Velamir's turn.
Okay, so both of them are up.
Well, one's banished. The one, this one,
Oh,
this,
yeah, that's what the,
yeah, he's banished.
I continue with the tolling.
Okay. For another 31. Okay, Larianus' turn.
Okay, let's see. I don't have many melee attacks. Really, any? I could use my dagger, I suppose.
Just use Eldritch Blast at disadvantage.
Actually, I have green flame blade.
Or you could use Eldritch Blast with
We
disadvantage.
can- Yeah, and push him, and then you will have enough space.
That's true. Okay, I'm sure
Well,
at least
look-
one of them will hit.
Well, you hit them at the same time, so all of them would still be with disadvantage.
I still think that's your best.
Yeah, yeah. There's no problem with it.
Yeah, okay.
But bless it, you know, it's not too bad either. So roll a d4.
Yeah, all of those are going to hit.
The one that's 13.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's armor class 14. All those are going to hit. Mhm.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, he's bloodied now. And he'll be shoved back to there
And he gets pushed 10 feet.
for each one, right? So he's knocked way back
I
there.
don't think they stack. It doesn't specify in the book, but I guess they could.
Yeah, each hit, because they're rolled separately. Remember, each needs to hit.
Okay.
Anything else from Larianus?
Cowering in the bush.
Okay, Mikhail's turn.
Am I flying at half speed?
Well, you have a dead Rimarez in your... You can drop it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
dead.
but it's not resisting anymore.
Right, it's dead.
Oh, he's still carrying it.
Yeah, but it's not resisting.
That's not what's
Please go
making
at
it.
full speed.
No, carrying around a Ramirez is just going to slow you down because it's just so big. Why do you want to carry around a Ramirez?
I want to drop it on top of that one.
Okay, there's no mechanism for. It would be 1d4 as an improvised weapon. Is that what you want to do? Make a d20 attack without your proficiency bonus to do a 1d4 plus your strength modifier.
I'm not attacking. I just drop it.
Okay, well the only way to do damage by dropping it is to use it to throw it as an improvised object, which would be like a club. It would do one. So is that what you want to do?
Release.
You want to use your action to try and do 1d4?
Release. I want to just release it and attack this guy.
That sounds better. Yeah.
And I'm gonna do the vicious mockery on it again.
Okay. All right. It is mocked.
7 plus 14, 21 damage.
Oh yeah, I forgot about your. Right, so it collapses at that point as well. And we can gather around this guy and ready our actions to kill him when he comes back in.
I'm gonna grapple him. As soon as he appears, I'm gonna grapple him.
Yeah, we will kill him as soon as he returns. That's no problem. All right, so we got these 4 carcasses here. What are we going to do with them? Yeah, I mean they have.
A good nature, if I can make something
Yeah, they have glands and various organs that could be harvested either with Arcana or with nature, whichever's best for you.
I'm gonna give him guidance.
Okay.
Both are equally as good.
Looking for 20. Yeah.
Can anyone make a DC? Yeah. Does anyone not have a negative to intelligence or have nature? Proficiency in nature.
I have proficiency in nature.
Proficiency to Arcana plus 6.
Well, I need one person to help me, but it's fine. There you go. Well, I'll make it.
Yeah, you get. Then there are 4 of them, so do it 4 times.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So have a whole sleeve of Remorez stuff that we can. And then as we are finishing up there, we carve up the last Remorez, and then suddenly there is a trampling coming through the undergrowth. So we will start with Josh. Josh, what is your passive perception?
16. My investigation's better, if that would help.
No, it's perception. But do you have alert or something else that would prevent you? Okay. Right. So there are these 4 large. Look, they resemble. Well, they're caribou. Like, so they're huge, trampling through us. You can either move to a space where you will not be, where there's no risk that they will trample you, or you can try to wave 1 or more of them off with an animal handling check. It's up to you.
Yeah, my animal handling wouldn't be good, so I'll just leave.
Okay.
Step aside.
Tori, what's your passive perception?
17.
Same thing. Or no, I'm sorry. So not. Yeah, it has to be a 20. No, I'm sorry. It's you have to be a 17 passive perception. So you make it on the note. So same choice for you. You can try to wave 1 or more of them off, or you can move to a safe space.
I'm gonna move to the safe space.
Okay, Mikhail, what is your passive perception?
1d4. Let me check here.
Dimgaard is in some dire need of some safe spaces.
My passive perception is 23.
Okay, so you can try to move 1 out of the way, or you can move to a safe space, or you can try to wave off 1 or more of them with an animal handling check.
Okay, I'm gonna take my cape off and I'm gonna play a matador here and try to wave them off.
Okay, make an animal handling check then. Okay, that is not going to, even if you rolled a 4 on your guidance, it would not be sufficient. Larinus, what is your passive perception?
Lower than 17.
Okay, so we got 4 that can attack either Larinus or Mikael. That's going to be Larinus. It's going to be Mikael.
Sorry.
That's going to be Mikael. And that's going to be so 2 and 2. So here's against Mikael. A 15 misses Mikael. I know that for a fact. And so does a 14 against Larinus. Does a 21 hit Larinus?
Yeah.
Okay, you take a 27 piercing. And I need a strength saving throw. All right, so you are...
Still disadvantage, but neither of them are 18.
Yeah, so you're knocked prone, and then...
The bless has run off, right?
Right, yeah. It's been several minutes. And then you take another 32 bludgeoning. And then the final one on Larinus, 22 for 26 piercing. You're already prone. And then
Okay, so I'm knocked out at this point by Caribou.
That's a shame.
And then yeah, you have a couple of failed death saves on the stomping, and then they run on past, and we will have to feed you a potion at that point.
Good berries.
Good berries, yeah. Good berries.
Good berries, yeah, we'll bring it back.
The best berries.
And we'll probably want to take a short rest then to recover some hit points, if nothing
I
else.
can help. Yeah.
If you use your dice, I add the 1d10.
We don't have any dedicated healer, do we? Got good berries, but
I'm the dedicated healer, man. I get
can
it
help.
focus with him.
I can help with it. There's no Garrett, unfortunately.
so let me know when we're ready to, when we have rested and are ready to move on. Are we ready to?
I'm waiting to figure out what's happening to me.
You would get back to 1 HP. 'cause
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a rest now, so you can spend it die.
Yeah.
Can I spend all of them?
You can spend all of them.
You get a tiny bonus from the Song of Rest.
Which one's the bonus?
It's a D8 or something like that.
Okay. Should I roll 14 dice independently?
No.
You can.
Get together.
The bonus for you. The Song of Rest is 1d10 now.
So you get 2 from the Song of Rest. Yeah. And then your hit dice you're going to spend.
Okay. Do you add con mod to hit dice when regaining
Yeah.
health or no?
Yeah, you do.
You do.
That does remind me. So we're completing a short rest. We have a lot of magic items. Are they all allocated?
No.
Well, some of them are.
Right. So yeah, if you look in the journal there, Phil, you'll see these pages that have kind of, they're not character sheets. I'm going to move
I
them.
noticed that.
Yeah. So those are magic items. So which of the magic items, and are being used, so I know.
I'm using the luck stone.
Which is the luck stone?
All the saves and checks.
Yeah, but it should have a name, like Medazar or Faerith or something.
I have two that aren't. This is before the magic items were brought in with name. I have Ogrog.
You have Ogrog. Okay, so
I have one other one. I'll find it.
I have Feyre and Izog.
Eyes of Charming. I don't know what that is.
it lets you cast Charm Person at will.
Never understood Charm Person because you are casting a spell. Like never a way around that. And almost anyone isn't gonna, you know.
That's why. Which one is that is Eyes of Charming? Because if you look at that one, it lets you do it once a day as a subtle spell.
Oh, is it Feyre? It doesn't say that.
Which one is it?
Yeah, it's the Axel
Favorite.
Argent.
Yeah.
Kieran, that Axel Argent.
Oh, I didn't even know that Feyre's had that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it didn't. I guess I thought about that, and then in the end, it didn't. Never mind. The one somewhere there is. But anyway, so does it? So everybody's got the magic items out of there that they are interested in, right? And we are ready to move on. Are we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So Borsted says, we're only a couple of hours from the camp, so it should be pretty easy going from here. However, as we go ahead. What were you saying?
Using the canner that has Devil's Sight.
Okay.
I have that Stone of Good Luck, which is that Axel Argent, and that canner. But I don't use it like as a short sword. I use it as a in case I need to have that Devil's Sight.
Right. Okay. All right. So, and you think you're only a short distance from the camp, according to Borsted's estimates, and the path is clear and easily followed. However, suddenly, the ground beneath you seems to shimmer. Although it's like the ground is rippling with life, and we will need to go into initiative at that point.
Oh, he beat it.
Cool. GG.
Magic day. Wow.
Hey, can I have a Meduzar, guys? Do you mind?
Does anyone else have it?
I don't think anyone minds.
Start. I'll put that on my character sheet so I don't have to look for it again.
Okay, so Borsted begins running. He's like, I don't know what this is, but I don't like it. He comes, yeah, let's see.
No, fast. So are we going up north then,
Yeah.
or to the east?
We're heading this direction. Yeah, we were out on the very western end, and now we are heading towards the. Tori, what's your passive perception?
17.
Okay. There is some motion in these trees over here. But it is too deep in to make it out. But you can tell what the area, what's causing the ripple effect. This entire ground, you can see like grub worms, green grub worms have just come up to the surface. There are thousands of them. It's like this whole place is infested with them and it extends for a couple of 100 feet in both directions from where you are.
Oh, that's lovely. He's gonna move towards the group and then some bonus action.
It's a really good spell to be able to cast.
Cast it once for short rest.
Anything else from Tori?
No.
Velamir's turn.
Throw 2 fireballs into the tree on the right.
Okay.
Fuck you, tree.
Don't murder the trees.
Well, the trees are trying to murder us, I think. I just have a hunch.
Okay.
I'll plant another one in its death.
Okay, anything else from Velamir?
Should roll another 2. I did 2 separate fireballs.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Roll the same damage on both.
All right. Anything else?
I did do them as fire, by the way. So I wanted to burn it down.
Okay. Anything else from Velamir?
No, that's it.
Okay, Mikhail's turn.
What's the reaction from the tree?
There is no visible reaction from the tree.
You catch on fire. Okay. I'm gonna cast the no, actually, let's screw that. I'm gonna do the fairy fire.
Okay. Where are you going to do the fairy?
You said there's 1,000. Hold on. There's 1,000 worms. Are they like attacking us, or they're just
They just come up to the surface.
spawning from the ground?
Yeah, they were probably a couple of inches below the surface, and now they have wriggled up to the surface.
They're like the fireball or no?
Well, the fireball went into the trees over here. You can't really see any effect of it because it didn't. I mean, it got out to like the edges here, and the grubs that were on the edge out here were killed. So.
I'm gonna cast Bless on myself, on Valamir, and on Larinet.
Okay.
Right?
Do it on Tori, don't do it on me. Do it on Tori.
So don't bless Velamir.
Actually, it's on Larinet, Tori, and Valamir. All 3 of them get blessed. I don't get blessed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else from Mikhail? All right, so
You guys hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one gets out to here, and it will dodge, and one of the grubs jumps up and begins burrowing into the simulacrum's skin.
Oh no.
This one does the same thing, runs out and dodges, and the simulacrum has 2 grubs burrowing in its skin.
Is it doing anything? Or?
Right now, they're just burrowing on into its skin. Let me see. So what's the range? Let me see. I can do it from 60 feet away here, I think. Okay, so this one's got to dash. He dashes down to here. And he'll do the same thing. One jumps up into... so the simulacrum's got 3 worms on him now. So, Larian, you see these 3 undead-looking things? They have these green worms crawling all over them. They come running out of the undergrowth, and 3 of the grubs that are on the ground jump up onto the simulacrum of Velamir's skin and start. Looks like they're trying to burrow into his skin. What is Larian going to do?
Pretty yucky.
That's pretty yucky, yeah.
Okay, I am going to get the fuck out of range. 30 out. And I'm gonna cast Chill Touch on this thing.
Okay. It does.
Ranged spell attack, okay. It didn't roll that for whatever reason.
Yeah, it is 25 is your attack.
Yeah, you roll it.
Oh, okay, that's the hit, yeah.
Yeah.
There's the damage, and it also... You said it was undead, correct?
Yes.
Or just looks undead?
No, it's
So,
legitimate.
for its next turn... it can't regenerate hit points, and it has disadvantage on attacks if it's rolling against me.
Okay. Anything else?
That would be all.
Okay. Okay. So this one gets to here, and now the simulacrum has 4 on it. Borstead is going to keep running, trying to get... So he dashes off the board. Tori's turn.
Okay. Move back a little bit, and then I'm gonna shoot that one a bunch.
So what do they look like? I understand they got grubs all over.
They look like zombies, kind of like zombies, except that they don't have that lumbering.
Okay.
And they have these green worms wreathing all around them. Okay, so they are...
Do they look sentient at all? If, like, however a creature could look sentient?
You roll 1d4 for attack bonus.
Yeah, all those hit. Yeah, they don't have a big armor class.
Okay.
Yep. I think in this group, anything except for 1 is going to hit.
So
15, 26, 41. This one looks like he's in bad shape. Anything else from Tori?
No, that's it.
I hope they don't one-shot my simulacrum. Let's do these cast as well.
Okay, so it is Velamir's turn.
Anything happen?
Not yet. Just these 4 grubs.
Fine, then. He'll, simulacrum's not enjoying the situation, so he'll chain lightning all of them.
Okay.
Make it intelligence, and then add some damage onto it as well.
Okay, so it's a DC 18. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, dexterity probably would have been fine. There were zombies.
Okay, so one of them makes it. But he's still bloodied.
Oh, he didn't actually die. I suppose it wasn't that much then.
That one actually dies. That one collapses.
Then I'll move.
What happens to Worm?
To warm? I don't know what warm means.
To the worms.
Worm.
Oh, okay. It has nothing's happened to it yet.
Can I remove them as my own action? Or,
You could remove one of them as your action.
it's not very effective. I'll chain lightning 2 of them. Sorry, lightning bolt.
Oh, lightning bolt. Okay.
Wow, that roll was real good.
Okay, that one's going to die anyway. So he's going to take. That's the extra damage, the 2d10 there. The extra. It's going to be 43. Okay, anything else from Velamir? Okay, so at the end of the turn, the 4 grubs burrow into him. And he takes 4 points of piercing damage. Yep, 4 points of piercing damage. Mikhail's turn.
Okay, so how does this guy look right here?
They're both bloodied. Yeah.
This one that took the chain lightning first time, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna hit him with the Eager Flame.
Okay. This one right here.
Strength.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Dex save, not strength.
Yeah, he fails.
Changed it a million times.
Yeah, he fails. And
12 damage, and that's a radiant damage. So if there's a vulnerability, you're undead.
seems to be just the opposite. He seems to suck up that radiant damage and it heals some of his wounds. Anything else from Mikhail?
Good.
Okay. Well, I guess he'll move up and just attack the simulacrum. Sends another worm onto the simulacrum as well, and then he will attack the simulacrum. No, he would not do that. He would attack Velimir and send a worm onto Velimir. So Velimir's got a worm on him now.
Okay.
Armor class 24 to hit.
Yeah,
And that's the first damage that Velimir's taken, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So 8 slashing and and 10 necrotic total. Larynus's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Witch Bolt on this one. Okay. I guess I'll just roll that manually. I don't know why it didn't roll it.
Because it has a spell card, not a attack.
But you can just roll a d20. That's fine. These guys are easy to hit. Yep. All right. So you hit him. Yeah.
That's for hitting. That's for damage.
Okay. He's going to go down. Borstead keeps running. Tori's turn.
Come back.
He doesn't like these green worms. He'll be about out of the field of them.
Down here. I'm gonna shoot this guy.
You have 4 hits.
Yeah, it's because of the swift quiver.
Okay.
Very
So
good.
it's going to be 1, 2. All those are going to hit. Yeah. So it's 20. Yeah, so that's going to be. It's going to be 25, 26, 39. So he goes. 39. Yeah, he goes down. It is Velimir's turn.
My simulacrum will take a grab off me, and I'll do the same to my simulacrum.
Well, the grubs are already burrowed in your simulacrum skin. They're no longer accessible. But you can remove yours. Yeah.
I'll make him remove one of mine, but I'm not really sure. Is there any spell that can remove them? I mean, or is he just going to die eventually?
Something's going to die eventually. Does anyone have a way to cure disease at this point?
I can't. Yeah, if it will stop him from dying, I'll make him bonus action to do it. Was it just lesser restoration or something like that?
I can cure him. Hold on.
So you're going to wait for Mikhail to go?
What spell can do it? Oh yeah, if it's lesser restoration, Mikhail can do it.
Okay, well, wait. So before Mikhail does it, Simulacrum takes 42 necrotic damage, and then Mikhail cures disease and the worms die.
Well, he's dead by that point.
Oh well, if he's dead, then he's dead.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we wait for Mikhail to go.
I thought I took the damage on my turn.
Takes it at the end of takes it at the end of the Simulacrum's turn, actually. Yeah.
But it wasn't last time.
Well, because it was just going to be 4 points of piercing damage.
So he died.
All right, so yeah, so the Simulacrum collapses into snow, which is actually a good thing, because if it hadn't been the Simulacrum, it would have been at PC, who would, well, although I don't guess 42 2 would have killed a PC.
No, that'd have been fine on the PC.
Yeah. Okay, so we get into the camp, into the rendezvous. Let me make sure. No, we don't get into the rendezvous yet. What are we going to do before? Do we want to do anything before we enter the rendezvous?
We didn't take that much damage.
I think we're about 20 minutes from the rendezvous, by our best guess.
When I dropped to 0, you probably saw my character change shape.
Yeah, so we know she's a half elf.
We're a group of strange individuals, but I guess we're fine with that.
The Dragonborn, so I think half elf did throw me off too much.
Oh no, I know, it's just I'm basically perpetually using illusion magic to make myself look taller and bulkier and more human than I actually am. But that would have worn off. So if anyone was paying attention, that would have worn off when I fell to 0. But I quickly
Somebody that
cast
was
it
picking you
afterwards.
did very noticed.
Alright, so we have someone who has proficiency in Arcana, so we all have advantage on this. So I need a DC 16 Charisma saving throw from everybody. Everyone has advantage.
To use my charisma save.
Sorry, say that again. Everyone makes charisma with an advantage.
Yeah, because we have some, because Velimir is proficient in Arcana.
Does that happen before the bless wears out or before?
After the bless was out. Yeah, the bless only lasts for 10 rounds. Yeah. This is as we are approaching the camp. Okay. Tori feels a little uneasy at that point. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Feel uneasy.
Feels uneasy. You feel cursed. Yeah. All right. And now we can enter the camp if we want to, unless we want to do something before we enter. But there doesn't appear to be anything keeping us from just walking into the camp at this point.
Well, I'm going to remove the curse from. I don't want to walk around with the curse on. 2 seconds.
Okay, you can remove first. Okay.
Gone. Gone, curse.
There we go. Okay. Let's see. All right. All right. So the camp. Let me show you what the camp looks like. So there are several dozen of these Jarlfolk bands running around, and no band is larger than the largest one is about a dozen people, and they are engaged in all sorts of frivolity. This is okay, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with the American mountain men tradition, but in the American West, before civilization, you had Indians and mountain men, white trappers, basically, and they would come together every now and then for these big celebrations, and would do things like compete in various activities that like trapping and shooting and throwing axes, and they would also it would be the time when they would negotiate for wives, when they would try to find a wife. So that's kind of what this is like. This is you have these small bands of these northern hunters, nomad hunters, and they come together for certain special events to intermingle and trade, and members of one band will marry members of another band so that you get a broader gene pool, right? And so that's what's going on here. And Borstead introduces you to Jarl Sven. Jarl Sven is a large man, but he is not overweight. He's clearly someone who's fit and sinewy. He's made his living on hunting caribou, and it shows like he's had a good life. And Borstead has explained the situation, and Sven says, Bane's Cross is a problem for us. I mean, for generations, our people have hunted these herds in the north, and until Bane's Cross, we would go all the way to the coast, from the mountains to the coast. It was our domain. And at first, when Bane Cross, in my grandfather's time, Bane Cross was just an inconsequential settlement there. But as Bane's Cross has grown, it has it has cut off the coast from once our herds cross into Bane's Cross's territory. We have to stop our hunt because we are too exposed to their raiders. They've eliminated entire bands and taken their women, and so we've recognized that it's a problem. But I have been unable to unify the other Jarls into a campaign. They are afraid to take that much time away from their hunting, and their women would prefer to have them at home rather than off where they can't protect them. And many of the Jarls, their herds never roam that far to the west, so they don't see a particular need to do anything about Bane's Cross. They're not a threat to their band as they see it, and they don't really feel any sort of compunction to just generously help another band. But I've invited them all here for this special rendezvous so that you can make your case for them for eliminating Bane's Cross. If you can convince them that there would be a good chance of success, I think we might have a chance at doing that. So there will be a council of Jarls tomorrow morning. My suggestion would be that you spend the evening trying to convince the other Jarls and their bandmates to join your cause. So what will Velimir do to convince the Jarlfolk of the worthiness of joining him in a campaign against Bane Cross?
What do you mean that I'm worthy of?
It doesn't have to be you personally. Yeah, you need to convince them to join a campaign. They're not inclined to go trampsing off across 100 miles of frozen tundra to launch an attack against Bane Cross, which they are not sure it would be successful. And so you need to change their mind if you want their help in a campaign against Bane's Cross.
I think this is a good time to use that cleric as a leverage, right? To show them that, see, if you guys wait, these guys are getting stronger. Yeah, they're not your immediate threat, but they're getting stronger. Now they can reproduce, now they have clerics that can cast spells on them. Eventually they're coming after you, so it's better end the threat now than like deal with the danger later.
So that sounds like Miguel is trying to persuade them. Is that right? Am I understanding you right?
And I'm gonna cast my what do you call that? Before I speak to them, I'm gonna use this spell here. 1 second. I don't have it.
What is the spell?
I'm just gonna use guidance.
Okay.
Learned, so there you go. Guidance and persuasion, right?
Yes, unless you're trying to flavor to something else. That sounds like persuasion to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a really strong case that they need to do with the threat now, then like postpone it and deal it later.
Okay.
And
Yeah. So you make a very persuasive case, and it seems like a few of the bands have swung in your direction that they agree with you. Hold on a second. I didn't bring a pencil. Hold on. Hold on.
it's 23.
It's usually in increments of 5, so it won't really matter.
Okay, so you asked how many there were, Josh. Is that right? There are several hundred. There are several hundred Jarlfolk organized into bands of between 8 and a dozen, and of those, about half are going to be combat worthy. Right. So if you get them behind you, you would have a force about equal to what's in Bane's Cross. Yep.
If we get all of them.
Yeah, if you were to persuade them all, yeah. Okay, so
What do they eat?
they eat mostly the products of their hunting, right? So bison meat, caribou meat. Yes. Although they do have a few wild berries, maybe a little bit of fish that they may have paused to pick up. Yeah. So back to Velimir. What's Velimir going to do to?
Do they follow any kind of religion?
They are members of the One True Faith. Yeah.
Okay, then can I argue from a religious perspective that the Hackspawn would be going against that and sort of corrupting the general area?
Yeah, I'm all right with that. Sure. Okay, and yeah, so several of the bands are much more faithful in their pursuits, and they will join the cause. Tori, Nikki, what will Tori do to try and contribute to the effort of pursuing?
I'm guessing they have like targets set up, so I'm kind of like prove like my archery skill.
All right, I'm all right. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. They would be impressed by a good archery exhibition. Okay. And then finally, we've got Larinus. What will Larinus do to help persuade or help convince? Persuade might be the bad, because it doesn't have to be persuasion. It could be whatever is tailored to your character. So you've got Tori over there demonstrating his martial prowess with the bow. You've got Velimir appealing to those who have a serious religious conviction. And you've got Mikhail demonstrating the objective truth that if nothing is done, they're just going to get stronger when these life carriers return. So what will Larinus do?
Our question first. Are we speaking to the heads of the bands, or are we speaking to everyone?
So the Jarls, the heads of the bands, clearly are the ones in charge, but they do respect the consensus of the band that they lead. So it's kind of both, right? The Jarl is not going to defy the will of the band, but he will be more. He will, if you persuade them, then you will be influential within that band. Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking of echoing Mikhail's persuasion and then trying to target any Jarls that seem like they're on the fence or not sure or maybe not interested at the moment, and I want to try to charm them with my tales of woe and what might happen or what would be great if they did and they succeeded.
Okay, that sounds excellent. So make me that persuasion check. Okay. Okay. But as we are going about the business of convincing these guys. We no longer have the simulacrum, right? All right. Right. So, unfortunately, as Velimir is returning from his religious demonstration. Why can I not select that? A nasty blast of Arctic air comes sweeping through, and I need a DC 15 Constitution save from Velimir. Okay, so Velimir takes 18 cold damage, and let's see. Tori, so there is one of the Jarlfolk had considered himself to be the most proficient ranged attack specialist in the camp, and as you were showing him up, he took great umbrage to that and launched an attack against you. Does a 23, an 18, or an 11 hit you?
23 and 18, so.
And then his band, his Jarl and the band that he's with immediately drag him away, apologizing profusely, saying that he's known to have a temper about such things, and they are sorry that occurred. Gale. Right, so during the course of your religious discussion, some of the, during the course of your insinuations about the threat of the life cleric, and there was some rancid meat that got in circulation, and I need are you susceptible to poison damage as an Asimar? I can't remember.
No, I have that. What do you call that?
Periaptive.
Medusar.
Okay. And Medusar is a periaptive proof against wisdom, right?
It's a proof against proof.
Okay. And then... and as Larinus is heading over to help Mikael in his demonstration, the same blast of cold that affected Velimir. So I need a Constitution save from Larinus as well. All right, so Larinus takes 18 points of cold damage. But then we only need one success to finish off the Jarls. So we will do that in the next round and not have any more. Right, so it takes several hours, but eventually it seems like the camp is nearly unanimous in their decision to take up this opportunity to eliminate Bane's Cross and restore their traditional hunting grounds to the west. However, approaching are a group of an agitated group, and a crowd has gathered behind them. Talking to each of you, or talking over each other, they are accusing your party of assassinating one of the Jarls who was opposed to attacking Bane's Cross. It seems like. So if you couldn't convince Jarl, his name was Torleaf, and he was one of the last Jarls who was holding out, and he has just been found dead, which is suspicious in itself. But not only that, but several people around said that they saw they saw your party heading his direction shortly before he was found dead. And his band members seem pretty intent on getting some vengeance here. What are we going to do about that?
Oh,
Can we try to defuse the situation?
Okay. How are we going to do that?
How How many people are making the accusations?
There are 4 of them, but then there's a crowd watching as well, who seem to be interested in the results. They were a little suspicious of outsiders to begin with, and now then that it seems like they're accusing you of, rather than trying to deal with Torleaf in an honorable way, you decided to just kill him.
Okay. I want to try to lay on the charm. I don't know if I should use like a basic charm ability or like a mass suggestion.
If you begin to cast spells, it seems like they would be very hostile to that. Just so you know.
Then I would pose another option.
I mean, I can charm them without casting something, just as a warlock ability. It would be anyone within 10 feet of me, so I would basically walk up to them and be like, "Gentlemen, let's not argue about this. You know that none of us have been to your sacred camp, and we mean you no harm. Whatever issues that you faced amongst yourselves need to be resolved, and you need to unite and leave this matter behind you."
Okay, what is the warlock ability you're talking about?
I'm gonna do it. It's the Fey. I think he's a Fey warlock.
So
right?
within 10 feet of me, anyone has to make a wisdom save or they're charmed. That would be DC 18. So I would basically walk up to them and give them a rousing speech about how they're misplacing their anger about the death of the Jarl, and clearly someone is trying to undermine them, but it's not us. It might be some internal politics or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm all right with that. All right, so it is a DC what? I'm sorry?
18. Wisdom.
It's a 10-foot cube, by the way. All that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it when I'm, like, near them and speaking to them and not in a mob of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are together, so that's going to be okay.
Oh, God. Wait, oh, those are 4 different ones. I'm like, they rolled a 24.
Yeah, so that seems to diffuse the situation. They're going to they are confused as to who it would have been who actually killed Torleaf then, because all the descriptions of the group that went to him seem to identically match your group.
It was the Fey.
Yeah, it was probably the thing.
I mean, if you guys actually did kill Torleaf, I wasn't there for that, so...
No.
You can trust us, we didn't. We're a rational group.
Disguise self is just a first level spell, though. So, all right.
But I would say, what kind of day is it? What's the time of day?
We are into the evening. Yeah, it's getting late, and we.
If that's the case, then I'll offer, or if not on Mikhail's behalf, if not mine, to raise dead the Jarl.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah, that would help a lot.
Raise dead.
I
Raise
will
dead,
then.
but yeah, I can't raise dead. I can just.
I know, but they mind paying the cost for it.
Well, they don't have 500 gold pieces worth of gems, which is what it takes. Is 5. They have 500 gold pieces worth of stuff. They can. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You have 500 gold pieces.
They can just trade it, you know.
Okay, yeah, they can trade with you. Yeah, because you have
I'll give them they'll give me the money. I'll cut the spell with my gems.
Yeah, because each one of the Rimmerezes,
It's my lore ability.
each one of the Rimmerezes,
That's well, yeah.
each one of the Rimmerezes had a gem in it that was retrieved.
Oh really?
Yeah, from just things that they had eaten. That okay. So yeah, that will help. So Torleaf will be.
How much was that overall in money?
It's going to be 600 platinum pieces in the end. Some of that in
For all of them.
for the 4. It's 150 platinum pieces each if you successfully loot the valuables and the from them. Yeah. Okay, so
So that's like 6,000 gold?
yeah, it's going to be 1,500 gold pieces each.
Split that.
Yeah, we'll split that at the end. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. All right, so we raise Torleaf. Why is that? Oh, that's why. Okay. There we go. Okay. However, this rendezvous, like many rendezvous, has had some disease problems, and as outsiders, we are particularly It's a particularly difficult problem for us. So this is a disease. If that makes any difference.
Jesus. The environmental effects are stronger than the enemies.
The environmental effects can be tough. Yeah. I've got that in there twice. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's 60, and then I accidentally put that in there twice. Sorry about that. Is anyone proficient in medicine?
Medicine? Yes, I am.
Yeah. Then everybody has advantage on it then.
I'm unconscious.
Right. So Tori goes unconscious
And,
and is going to have his strength. Yeah, his strength is reduced by 4. Yeah.
Ooh,
Everybody,
-4 strength mod.
Oh.
but your deck's base, so it's not that big a deal. So.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody else takes 30. So Sven sees you guys having a problem with the disease, and but he seems very happy. He appears greatly impressed and happy that you. It's like, yes, the imposition of Bane's Cross has caused many cultural problems for our people over the years, because what inevitably happens is whenever a band's herd wanders into their territory, they have to go find a new herd, and that leads to conflicts with other Jarlfolk bands. So it is a very good idea. It's a very good thing for us that they have been. If we could eliminate that threat. All right. So suddenly, 4 of the people accompanying him draw out their rapiers, and we will go into initiative at that point.
Oh. Oh, we didn't.
We're not on a map.
Oh, let me get you there.
Yeah, I can't start my token.
Sorry about that. Let me get everyone over.
I made the saving throw, and I'm resistant to necrotic damage, so I only took 15.
Okay.
Do you mind if I go AFK for like 2 or 3 minutes?
Can it wait just a few minutes? I don't know. We're about to see what happens with
I
the.
mean, I can roll in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well that looks like I'm going last, so
That's alright then.
go to the washroom real quick.
Okay. Sorrelfin, Sven's Jarlfolk. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be really bad for us. Tori at 1 hit point, I'm at 12. So,
Okay. So.
are the Yols happy with us? But he's killing us now.
Okay. Well. All right. So let me look. I think things will become clear here fairly quickly. All right. So they draw their. So 4 of the guys with the Jarl draw rapiers, and one of them. Yeah, I hate it when I get that black bar. All right, so 15 hits the Jarl. So the Jarl is hit for.
Ouch.
What is it?
Level 9 rogues.
20, 22. Right, so the Jarl is hit for 29 points of piercing damage, and then the guy goes ahead and grabs a alchemist flask and throws it on the Jarl. Right. And the Jarl is now unconscious, by the way. Is that right? No, the Jarl is not unconscious, but the Jarl is looking in very rough shape.
Okay. This will be funny then.
For the me?
Yeah, so then it's Tori's turn. So 4...
We're in combat.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So what is Tori's insight? What is his bonus to insight, by the way?
Insight 3.
All right, so this surprises Tori. What is Velimir? Velimir can't be surprised. So Velimir realizes things are weird and can react, and he's not surprised. So four of the
polymorph. Actually, what CR's the Jarl?
this Jarl is a CR 1/2.
God damn it. I was gonna try and polymorph him into something.
Or I can use a reaction to stop him from getting killed.
What is your modifier to what's your modifier to insight, Mikhail?
I think it's plus 13.
To insight?
How do you have such huge skill bonuses?
Expertise.
Bard, dude. Yeah, expertise at the what do you call that? High
Sorry.
wisdom.
I remember hearing that you were a paladin.
No.
I'm not
His paladin died, and the bard
My paladin
Asime
died.
came as a vengeance.
Okay.
Came to avenge him.
I'm a first level cleric and 13th level bard.
So yeah,
then I'll
so actually, so going back here, yeah, if you are you wanting to roll a cutting words against the first attack on Sven?
Yeah, I wanted to like tell him to hunt. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, because you're not
He's
surprised.
your Earl.
Yeah, so roll your cutting words. All right, so that actually misses then. So so the Jarl is not. The Jarl's wearing chainmail, just so you know. So that. All right, I'm sorry.
they all just surrounding him.
They were all like around him, close to him, but behind him. Yeah, so it's Velimir's turn.
Okay. I'll cast confusion then. So if I can hit all of them. Oh, actually, maybe. What do they look like? Are they disguised?
I don't even see what.
They look like other Jarlfolk. Yeah, you would confuse you. Yeah, no, they're not disguised. Mm-mm. What is your passive? What's your passive arcana?
25.
You recognize sort of the glassy look in their eyes, like they're probably not acting of their own volition.
Oh, okay. Like a Dominic person or something.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really want to have to dispel each one of them. It's not really good action economy. I really don't know. I guess I can confuse all of them. That's what's going with to begin with. I'll do that. And then I'll increase the DC.
As well on my turn.
You're going to do what? You're going to confuse.
Yeah, I'll confuse them.
Going to try to confuse them all. Okay.
increase the DC, but wait a sec. What's the saving throw normally?
Wisdom, I believe. Let me look.
Yeah, I'll change it to intelligence then.
Yeah,
it's
it's
DC 20 wisdom saving throw. Sorry, intelligence saving throw. I'll be confused.
Okay. Okay. That's. I think that's a really clever thing. All right. So. Right. So.
Jesus, are there any modifiers?
So 2 of them are confused.
Wow.
Okay.
Those are rolls.
Oh wait, I only put 1 Jarlfolk in initiative. Okay, let me see. I gotta do that. Sorry about that. Give me just a second. I only some.
Jesus, they're good.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go.
Damn, what the heck?
There we go. All right, so I guess I skipped some of them here. Yeah.
Did they get advantage?
Yeah, they're under the effect of Cat's Grace. So actually, so I've got to go back and. So probably, yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so the Jarl is thoroughly killed. Yeah, that would have been what they would have done. And then Verlamir is going to confuse 2 of them. Okay. There we go. Jarl Sven, we can get rid of him. He's dead. Mikhail's turn.
Okay. So I'm gonna cast the mass suggestion on them, and I'm gonna suggest to them that they are under the spell from the.
Okay, that won't have any effect on them. They are not acting on their own volition. They're under the effect of dominate person, and you can't override that dominate person with a suggestion. Right?
I'll go override it with another dominate person.
Even if you so you can say, oh well.
The rest are. But I don't want to waste my spell on them. Okay, I'm gonna put a hypnotic pattern on them. So that's
Okay.
30.
Yeah, you can get them all.
These guys right here, all of them. Yeah. And they need to have DC 18.
DC 18.
Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, looks like all but 1 of them is under the effect of hypnotic pattern.
Cool. And as a bonus action, who needs the who was passed out?
Jarl Sven was killed. Right.
Passed out then. I'm just gonna move in, and which one succeeded?
The one on the left.
This guy right here.
Sure. You don't need to worry about positioning. You can just say what you're going to do, and that's fine.
Then what do you call that? Tori. So he doesn't take the. I'm the first one to take the hit because I'm the healthiest.
Okay, so you're going to move up and.
He's getting that.
Okay, so you're going to move up and And attack. Gotcha.
Attack. I already cast a spell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So you're just going to move up. All right. Larinus. 3 of them are under a hypnotic pattern. 2 of them are confused. What is Larinus going to do?
I'm tempted to dispel the one who's not under the effects of anything and ask him, what is happening here?
I guess that'd work. You spelled at what, 5th level?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That'd work then.
tell me
Yeah,
in person.
He always casts out.
Yeah, Warlock always casts at the highest available slot.
So is that what you're going to
I
do?
just don't know which one that was.
You're going to cast a spell magic on them?
This one?
Okay.
Yeah.
At 5th level. All right. So the glassiness around his eyes disappears. And I think that's going to take care of it. I think he...
And I want to try to... Can I ask him a question as a free action or no?
So I think that's going... These other 3 are incapacitated for a minute from hypnotic pattern. And we'll be able... so yeah, you can ask him a question. Mm-hmm.
And ask him, do you realize what you just did?
And he says it was like... it was like...
Pointing at the dead Jarl.
Yeah, it was like I was above my body watching myself. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. We were on our way to greet you, and then something happened to me when we were almost here, and then it was just like I was watching myself from above my, like my mind was above my body, and that began the last few steps before we arrived here, and then I just felt the irresistible compulsion to kill him. Yeah.
And you have
There's an infiltrator amongst us. There's a traitor amongst us. We're going on a mole hunt.
So what we need to do is to rally the camp.
Man, it's not going to be traitors because none of these guys can cast spells.
Yeah. These are all...
Outside source.
Yeah, these are... The closest you would come would be rogues, right? Some of them have rogue qualities, but most of them are fighter types. Yeah, they don't have the capacity to cast spells. But we know that there are spell-casting Fey around because they disguised themselves as us to kill the one Jarl, and now they've used Dominate Person to take over these Jarlfolk.
Okay, I'm gonna take him out and like have everybody gather up.
All right, so yeah. So we've got the dead Jarl there, and the rest of the Jarlfolk. This suddenly is like, you know, they could hit Jarl's Vend in the middle of camp. How can any of us be beyond their reach? And so this seems to cause them to be rethinking their plan to go up against Bane Cross. So are we going to do anything to change that pattern?
And yeah, I'm gonna kind of gather them all up, and like, is it possible to gather all of them up? Everybody.
Everybody's
You said
here.
There's 200 people, right?
Yeah, there are several hundred.
There, and guess what? I'm gonna ask them. Anybody missing from amongst your ranks?
Well, no one is aware of anyone who isn't here that wasn't supposed to be here. Yeah, I mean there were some of the bands. Go ahead.
The Meduzar's one of the abilities, which is True Sight.
Okay. And yeah, there's no one.
It's only 220 feet.
Yeah, so none of them are in any way disguised or under any sort of illusion or anything like that.
Attack them tomorrow, because if they can do this to one of your earls, all of you are in danger, and we need to take the matters right now. And I'm gonna persuade them.
Okay, you can make a persuasion check.
myself to give a little boost. Say prayer to one true God.
All right, so about half of them are enraged by Jarl Sven's assassination, but a full half of them are thinking that this is going to be a foolhardy errand. If they can infiltrate the rendezvous and turn Jarl Sven's own assets against him, his own band, they think it's probably better to just avoid that part of the herd range and leave them alone if they'll leave us alone.
Well, if they're only going after the Jarls, we're a party with a lot of resources. Death really doesn't mean an awful lot to us. I argue.
So are you going to demonstrate that?
Well, I can't today, but I can tomorrow.
Okay, that's sufficient. Yeah, yeah. That will convince the other.
Tomorrow I'll raise them again.
Okay, and that is a good place to stop for this evening. Let me get the. So here is the. In reward for raising. For bringing back Sven after his assassination, they award you it's a sacred relic that Sven has had in his family for several generations. And then here is the so it's going to take 50 platinum pieces out of the treasure to raise Jarl Sven. The red caps, ignore the red caps. We substituted the spawn of Caius for the red caps. So that was yeah, I wanted to see what spawn of Caius would look like, so I substituted that for the red caps. Otherwise, it would have been.
Yeah, we dealt with the red caps pretty easy.
Yeah. You mean the spawn of Caius?
No, the red caps. Last time when we fought them in the last session.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pretty fast.
Well, yeah.
They're so harsh though.
Yeah, but there should be that maximum possible is wrong. It should be 26,000 is the maximum. I need to correct that because it's 25 to get from 14th to 15th level, and I made sure there was plenty there for it. Yeah, Phil, if you look at the XP breakdown, you'll see that the environmental effects also have the most XP.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. Man, 2,500.
Yeah, it should be 25,900.
Okay, yeah. I think you're right. Yep. Yeah, and that should take us to 15th level, no problem. All right, and then this is a vicious weapon, right? Which would be a magic weapon. It's a vicious short sword. It's kind of a rogue's weapon, but
yeah,
it would be good to have.
It's for a rogue, sure.
Yeah.
No, I already changed it 3 items. I can't.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then we will pick up with the campaign against Bane Cross next Thursday.
Thursday?
Sunday.
Or I'm sorry, next Sunday. Yeah, sorry about that. I run three games a week: Sunday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I sometimes get a little confused. Sorry about that. Okay.
Just making sure.
So we will jump into the retrospective. Okay, so to me, the first thing here is it seemed to run very short. Right, we're done at 9.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe changing the right. So in here there is an unexposed group of warlocks of Arethysia, right? Warlocks of the Fey. If the red caps are in there, they've summoned the red caps. Then they dominate the Jarl's men, and then they combine their powers for the curse. So I'm thinking maybe get rid of the disease and actually have the opportunity to expose those, because combat runs longer than environmental effects. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, 2.5 hours seems short to me. But then, and I think that would extend it out to 3 hours.
The combat wasn't very challenging for our level.
Well, we took.
Say that.
We.
Like it was.
Well, the
Like,
thing.
look at it this way. I used like 2 spells and both buffs.
I'd say the environmental effects compensate for that, though. I mean, I know I've only been here for this one game, but those did more damage to me than the monsters.
Well, all right. So the Torleaf's Jarls, who Larinus used.
Yeah, they could have ruined us.
Yeah, I mean they're 10th level champions, and then Sven's, right? We had. I think we used good tactics. I don't think that it was particularly that they.
Yeah, I just think we played it well rather than
Yeah.
easy.
We-
Like, you see the sneak attack damage on how fucked we were right then. We could have lost that if we didn't play that smart.
Well, yeah, and now so that the way that is set up is to kill the Jarl, obviously, right? Because they have a big initiative and they have advantage, and so they're going to kill the Jarl and then they
They give them enhanced ability.
say it again. I'm sorry.
How do they give them enhanced ability?
It's
Is it not? Not require concentration?
yeah. In general, it does.
It does
Mhm.
require concentration.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like how they would be able to do that as well as dominate them, unless there's double the amount of them than there was to the Jarls.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they would have had to have They have to have more casters than just 4 to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I probably won't be able. Well, I know that I won't be able to use the Volo's warlock because it's way too high a CR. Yeah. So I'll have to work that out. Yeah, I'm okay with the balance on the actual creatures. I just think that this party used really good tactics. I mean,
Yes.
like if the Cayuse spawn or the spawn of Cayuse, so that was randomly determined who they were going to target. It happened to be the Simulacrum. Right, that could have turned out nastier than it did. Because
The question with the Simulacrum, do they have like, are they literally a copy of the character?
except with half hit points.
Yeah, I just meant like personality-wise. Do they think the same? They feel the same way? Things like that.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe. Well,
Yeah, I was just curious how
yeah, I guess so.
Just death, because they know they're gonna die. It's gonna be like, oh, my life is short. This is sad.
oh, that would be a great story, wouldn't it? That, yeah, that would be.
Or like a runaway Simulacrum.
Well, Or if you had a simulacrum and then like the primary character died, the simulacrum would live on,
No.
right?
When he just assumes his life.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, that could be that could be a thing. I actually may take that to Gen Con. Yeah, I had an idea for the, because I'm doing a premiere at Gen Con. It's going to be like a 3rd or 4th level character, and yeah, a simulacrum would be nice for that. Yeah, that's I like that, Josh. Thanks. All right, so yeah, I think I'm okay with the balance. I think that we just played really well there. I mean, I'm not trying to be defensive or anything, Omari.
No, I'm just. That's what we usually discuss, right? After like what our impressions were.
Yeah. That's where we're at
I
now.
think that
So, but you felt it was not sufficiently challenging in combat. Yeah.
look at it. Yeah, because most of my resources I expended were either out of combat, which is the greater restoration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it was spell that I cast, the hypnotic pattern. And in previous encounters, usually we were almost out of the spells before the end of the session. Out of spell slots. You know what I mean? So that our resource expenditure was a lot more session.
Well, I mean, I could do things
It could be because it was shorter.
right. If I'm increasing the number of the undercover warlocks, I think protection from evil. Well, no, but that would prevent them from being dominated too. I don't know how I could prevent them from being charmed. I'll think about that. There might be some things I could do to complicate that a little more, so that it's not just one spell and done the way that it was. That might.
Yeah, I think people need more of a chance in this session to actually figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the story in general, though? The coming together of the Jarlfolk and persuading them to join your cause? Are we okay with the general plot outline, like the story arc? Do you have any suggestions on improving that?
Story's fine.
Okay.
With the Earl, if we accompany the Earl and we're tasked with protecting him, that will be like a lot more challenging and involved.
Right. Yeah, that could be something that could change, that could make it.
An ambush, you can get jumped, etc., and like you will have a lot more, and it will kind of flavor the story as well.
Well, we did. Doesn't sure happen.
Yeah, I do kind of like that, though. Yeah. I do kind of like. Right. So, Phil, this is your first session with us. I would be interested specifically in your observations.
Okay. I mean, I definitely need to get into it a little more and actually play a character. I was kind of just figuring things out today.
Right. Yeah.
The setting is really interesting. I do feel a little behind in some aspects. Like there's 10 different magic weapons in this roster, and I don't know how they were acquired. And when I read the Dimgaard guide, it kind of gave me the impression that magic items were extremely rare. So I need to kind of reconcile that belief now, I guess.
They are, but they're always they're made from creatures. So a creature has to be sacrificed in order to make one.
Right.
Right.
All of them were. They have their own description.
Yeah. So if you look at each of those items, right. So this is the 14th episode, and we've gone one level per episode. So basically, we are acquiring one item per level for the party. Actually, I think there are only 3 of them that are weapons. I think there's a vicious dagger and now a vicious short sword. And I think there was another magic short sword. Maybe a short sword of wounding. Right.
There's a whip.
There's a what? I'm sorry? What did you say, Omari? You were cutting out on me there.
Whip.
Oh, yeah, there's a whip, yeah. So the point of the thing there is that, like, there's nothing there that's tailored towards a crossbow expert or heavy weapon master or anything. The idea is to even out the things that dramatically skew the power curves amongst certain builds, right? But I do think that might be true if you look at the general idea behind Dimgaard. This campaign probably does have a little too many. Yeah, I might have gotten carried away with.
Yeah, well, especially considering back to Trial Conspiracy, you gave us almost nothing.
Right.
I think
that's true.
We had maybe a +1 shield, a long sword of wounding. I think that was it.
Yeah.
And we killed fucking Lolith. We killed Lolith with that gear.
Well, yeah, but I think.
Do you really need one though?
Yeah, I guess that's true. So yeah, maybe I do need to cut down on the magic items for a while. I hadn't considered that. That's a very good observation, Phil. That's something I hadn't thought about.
I do think it's a bit hectic handing them out, like, or redistributing them every. It seemed practical to do that every session.
Yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of them, and I have no idea like where they fit into the story. So to me, it seems really obvious, whereas to you guys who've been around this, it might
yeah,
not be.
that's.
So I guess it's just like
yeah.
from my vantage point.
Them are trophies. We killed like really badass half orc. We took one sword from him. We killed that freaking that caster where we got that Meduzar. That was a pain in the ass, and those like magic items really usually are the ones that are like impose the most problems to us.
Yeah. No, I now the more I think about it, the more that I think that you're absolutely right, Phil. I think, but I don't have a way to fix that because the first 12 sessions, the first 12 episodes have already been published. So I don't know how I would go back and.
How are you turning this into a full campaign guide?
Yes. Yeah. And like I say, the first 12 have already been published, so I don't know how to go out there to the DMs who've already using it and say, oh, you need to go out there and claw back, these 6 items.
I don't think it's that bad, but I will say.
You can always make an addendum, say for people running your game, saying like these magic items should be used sparingly, and you don't necessarily have to give one out at the end of each session.
Yeah.
Right, but also they go woefully underused.
I mean, if I had any idea about using them, I might, but like, I haven't even read through all of them yet. I don't know if any of them would be good for me, I'd have to take some time to go through all of them.
Yeah. But generally with things like passive things are better, at least for player characters, or just play in general, because it's something that's passively affecting the game rather than my active decision to have to go, I'm going to now activate this ability from this item I've now got. It's quite
Like,
no one, that's rarely going to happen unless someone's actively like thinking about it.
Like unless we had a rogue or a fighter in the group, those magic items are useless right now. Like other than that proof against poison, we'll name one magic item that we have used so far.
Well, the poison has come up a lot, and I don't know if whoever Yeah, the Stone of Good Luck, I don't know who's using that, but that should be used like every time we go into initiative or make a saving throw, right?
Yeah, I use it. I don't use it for initiative. I don't think it affects initiative, but everything else I use it on.
It should affect initiative. Should give you a +1 to initiative as well. Initiative is a dexterity check. So anything that
Saving throws.
yeah.
It says saving throws, and oh, it does say ability checks.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
There's a brooch of is there a brooch of shielding in the list, or is that am I getting things confused?
I have one of them.
Yeah.
Wasn't on, that isn't in the list.
That's right.
There's one in the list, but I have one that isn't.
Well, the one
Named item.
yeah, the one you have should be retconned to the one that's named. Yeah.
I don't know which one that is.
I don't know. We'll have to look through it and find it. But we can do that offline. Yeah, what happened was this whole thing with so when I first published the first episode, I got an email saying, you know, these are all supposed to be unique magic items in Dimgaard. Why don't you have them as unique magic items? Why is it just a brooch of shielding? And that was when I started producing these named magic items, so that I no longer use just a generic periaptive proof against poison or whatever, right? And I like that. So that is something that contributed to the overpopulation of magic, is the fact that I kind of got personally into these named magic items and probably got carried away with them because I enjoyed.
It happens as a DM.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have been through it.
Yeah. So yeah. So I really appreciate that, Phil. That's a very good observation. I think you've nailed something that needs to be changed. I'll have to work on that. Okay. Anything else from you, Phil? That was a good one.
I don't know if you're like. I think the biggest observation I already said was that the environmental effects seem to be ridiculous. But I mean, that's from the perspective of someone who plays like. I don't know. No, I've just played enough campaigns where those are not something that would like deal more damage than a combat, but I don't mean ridiculous as an insult. It's definitely a creative way of keeping people on their toes.
Right. So so here's the deal with that, with the environmental effects. I call them hazards in the things that I publish. So this was unusual in that we actually had more time than expected, but in general, it's going to take you. You're looking at a typical adventure day. You want to have like about 7 events, right? So we had 7 events here. You can't get that into a 4-hour session if it's 7 or even 5 combats, right? So you have to have things that are going to have the same resource effect on the party,
Right.
but without actually going into combat, right? So that's where those come from. So they can be resolved, you know, in 4 or 5 minutes, but they're going to consume the resources of the party that usually are going to be commiserate with what a combat would have done, right? So you're going to have to spend some spell slots to do whatever, and
Yeah, I realized I could have actually used a reaction to not get trampled to unconsciousness in retrospect.
oh yeah. Yeah, so that's the idea behind the hazards, is that they're resolved very quickly, and they consume resources commiserate with a combat, so that we can get the 7-ish, sometimes as few as 6, and sometimes as many as 8, but usually about 7 events into a 4-hour session efficiently.
Right.
And mechanically, they are most of them follow the same pattern, where there will be damage that is equivalent to a dangerous trap. If you look in the DMG, it'd be dangerous trap. But with a saving throw that is deadly. So a deadly saving throw, but the damage for a dangerous trap. And then there's the possibility of some lingering effect that would then consume resources to correct, like greater restoration that Mikhail used after the hazard is resolved. And then there's usually almost always a reward for either individual players or the group if there's someone who has a good skill check of some kind, like Arcana or Medicine or something like that, just to spread the love amongst different skills. Yeah. So
yeah, that's another thing I like about the environmental effects is that they make a lot of the like kind of useless skills,
like animal handling.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this character is built around charisma, so I'm just waiting for more like persuasion, performance, deception checks.
All right, so that's where the skills challenge comes in.
Medicine, nature. We use a lot of medicine, nature, animal handling.
Well, I try to get a skills challenge into most of the modules, and more than half of those are going to be charisma based. Like this one was heavily skewed towards persuasion, right? To convince the Jarlfolk to follow you. So, and then a lot of
it's always a disease per day.
Disease and poison.
Really skewed.
Yeah, but that
disease and poison are the most deadly.
Well, they're the most frequent. Yeah, there's a reason for that, right? So.
Yeah, I understand that. But
yeah. So yeah, if you look across human history, by far the biggest killer of humanity through the ages has been disease, right? Like people focus on wars because they're more exciting, right? But one good disease will kill, an order of magnitude more than a good war. Like the flu epidemic of 1919 killed more people across the world than World War I did, right? And people are like, the flu epidemic of 19, I think, right? They kind of, it's a footnote in history, even though it literally killed more people than World War I. that's just true across human history. So that's the reason I put diseases in there so frequently, is because it's historically such a killer.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense completely, but it does skew the game a bit.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely makes medicine important.
I like to change my contingency now.
I'm just glad I put a few points in Constitution.
Yeah.
It also makes Constitution saves like almost mandatory.
Dude, until I got my.
Well, it definitely makes it mandatory to have. Yeah, it definitely makes it mandatory to have someone in the party who is good with medicine, right? Because almost always the disease will give medicine check. Give you advantage as someone that has proficiency in medicine. So, yeah.
Is there a spell that makes you like resistant or immune to disease?
Well, the diseases almost always deal necrotic damage. So, if you were resistant to necrotic damage, you would be able to have the damage from it.
Protection from disease? I think it's a thing.
Is that a thing?
I think it is.
It's from poison. No, protection from energy, evil and good, and poison.
There's a detect poison and disease, but I don't know that there's a.
Oh, whatchamacallit? The paladins have that aura.
There are a couple of.
The auras for saves.
I also have this spell that is pretty badass. I can't wait to use it.
There are like monks have that perfect body or whatever it is that makes them immune to disease.
Same paladins at third level.
Yeah. So reflecting back on the last two, the Jarlfolk who were fooled by the disguised self into thinking you had killed the Jarl, and then the dominated ones. I think if I build in some countermeasures so that those aren't so easily one spell and done, then
Maybe like steal the body or something.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what. I don't just somehow make them either.
For context, sorry. Was there actually a situation around the other Jarl getting killed last session, or is that just a reference?
One of the Jarls got killed while we were
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
Not Sven, the other one who accused us of killing him. Was that something that actually happened last session, or is that just kind of a passing?
No, that happens during this session.
That happens here.
Yeah. So the story there is so the Erethesia's agents who are watching what's going on, they realize that you are getting close to persuading the Jarlfolk to join you, right? And they don't think they can defeat you just with a direct attack. And they think it would be too obvious if they were to try to take out other Jarls who are favorable to you. So they actually target one of the last Jarls who's still resistant, in the hopes that he will be like a martyr for them, right? That his death, particularly if they can blame it on you, will provoke a reaction against you that will undermine the activity.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just wondering, like, do the characters actually see him die, or is this something that happens like?
No. It
I was
happens.
just wondering if I had missed something.
No, it happens off screen. Yeah. Yeah, it happens while you are doing the skills check or the skills challenge. Yeah, it's supposed to happen off screen towards the end of that is the timing of it.
Okay, so I'm not missing anything.
Right. No, you're not missing anything. And within the context of the story, the heroes have the tools they need to overcome that challenge without combat. Right, because they have 100% an alibi, right? Because for the continuous time where they're supposed to have been going off to kill Torleaf, they've been very visible amongst several hundred other Jarlfolk, right, doing the skills challenge. So, it's intended to give you a wide range of solutions other than combat, right? But if things go badly, then the combat is an option. So, but oh yeah, so you're gonna start setting up your spell glyphs.
Yeah.
What is the casting time on Demiplane?
Magic Secrets.
On Demiplane, there's an action to open it. I'm pretty sure.
Is it? I think so. Yeah.
Right, let me check.
I can't wait. I get the.
Yeah, casting time 1 action lasts an hour.
So what he's talking about there, Phil, is are you familiar with Glyph of Warding?
I know the name.
Right. So in 5th edition, Glyph of Warding allows you to put down a glyph, and it can be one of two things. It can be an explosive runes that just causes area of effect damage whenever the trigger goes off. But alternately, it can contain another spell, and you decide what triggers it, right? So really, typically there's no way for PCs to benefit from those spell glyphs, because the PCs are almost always going to an environment that they don't control, right? So they can't have set up those spell glyphs ahead of time the way the bad guys can. But Josh has a plan to change that circumstance using a demi-plane.
Yeah.
And we've been waiting for him to get to 15th level.
It takes an hour to cast Glyph of Warding, and obviously you can't move it, so they're not mobile. But the demi-plane's mobile. It's just wherever. It's just a room that I make visible wherever I go. So I'm just gonna fill the room up with Glyph of Wardings and just cast demi-plane and then unleash hell.
So you literally take people into the demi-plane where the glyphs are pre.
No, I it's just a doorway, so you can walk in and out of it. So as long as there's vision between the target and my demi-plane, I can just point at them. They'll die.
You can one-shot your ass.
They don't actually have to walk into the demi-plane.
No, they don't. It's just a doorway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the spells come out of the door.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is crazy.
39th level magic missiles.
I was thinking
Stuff
disintegrate.
like that. That works. I was doing magic missiles just because they don't have a,
Save or anything. Yeah.
yeah.
With Lawmaster, would I be able to spend the other spell slots to, increase the save and all that on the Glyph of Warding?
That is a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. That's the way I originally read the spell.
I'll be casting the spell.
Yeah, because it says it uses all of your associated things, right? Like it uses your spell DC. Let me look it up here. Target synchronization. Yeah, it says the spell is cast, right? And yeah, so my originally thought was that yes, it does. That it uses. So for example, where I was originally looking at it was if you were a sorcerer who added meta magic to it, right? That would like heighten spell, for example, in particular, to make the DC to make the save be made with disadvantage. And I researched that, and I don't have a good answer as to whether or not it.
At least how it's flavored between. I understand for meta magic that being different to how the Lawmasters, how it's worded in the Lawmaster. It's just you're changing the spell as you cast it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I will have to revisit it. What were you saying, Phil?
Question, actually.
Okay.
Just reviewing what I've done with my character. There was 1 or 2 points where you used someone's Arcana as a baseline to see if something's magical.
Right.
I have an ability that lets me use Detect Magic at will. So, I don't know if that would be like a better baseline to use from now on.
Yeah, that would definitely be helpful. Yeah, that would have been my first choice if I'd have known about it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so.
Question then. That podcast you're on, or you had to leave on Wednesday. What is it? I'm just curious. Is it like a D&D thing or?
Yeah, it is a. His name is Michael Berinsky, and I can't remember the name of the podcast right off the top of my head. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, so on Wednesday and then on some Saturdays he does a D&D podcast. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to be joining him regularly on Wednesdays or if that was just a one-time thing he wanted. I need to ask him that. But I know him through the conventions. Well, actually, I think I first met him because he was one of the very first backers of the Kickstarters, like way back in 2015. But then he and I attend the same conventions now. Like he was at Origins, and he'll go to Gen Con, and He was at Winter Fantasy. So, and yeah, the gist of it is he does it on Wednesday. It comes out on Friday, and it was like, well, what did you do in D&D this past week that was interesting that you? So it's very open ended, like But then the one he does on Saturday though is much more focused. Like this past Saturday, he did a review of monster compendiums available on the DM's Guild website. I think if I got better at managing that break at 8, like I didn't like the fact that I had to leave in the middle of combat, right? So we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, but
Presumably it's online though. Curious to listen to that.
Yeah, I will find. I have the link, but I don't have it at my fingertips. So I'll email it to you. Yeah. Anything else before we call it
I
out?
think some other guy in the Roll20 was asking about joining this Sunday campaign.
Oh.
His name's Noah. Reach out.
Yeah, I have a.
I don't know if he might mail to you or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. So you know him personally? Like he's a friend of yours? Or?
No, it's just in the Roll20 chat. He said hi.
Oh. in the Roll20 chat or the
Sorry, the Dimgaard, the
Discord chat. Oh. Yeah, I published the link to the Discord chat on the description on Roll20, so that's why we get occasional people dropping in there. I mean, it's not like we're doing anything weird or suspicious. I don't mind people coming in and observing. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, then I guess I will see you guys next Sunday. Thanks a lot for coming.
Okay.
Thanks,
Take
Ross.
care.
All right, bye.
Cheers.